Okay, so today I'm going to explain to you how to make a workout split to fit your life no matter what. All right, so for those of you who work full time, Monday to Friday, let's say you work from like 9 to like 9 or something, and you physically do not have time to go to the gym before or after work, and Saturday and Sunday is the only days you can go, we're going to want to do a 2-day split that runs on Saturday and Sunday. We want to have one upper day and one lower day. So on the upper day, that's going to include chest, back, shoulders, tricep, and biceps. And on our lower day, it's going to be legs. Now, obviously, you're going to want 2 times frequency, but if Saturday and Sunday is the only days you can train, this is how you should set it up. Okay, so let's say you can train 2 days in the week and you're working full time. Let's say we can train Wednesday, and let's say you train either Saturday or Sunday, it doesn't really matter. Let's say you have only time for 2 days per week, and one of the days you can actually train during the week. So let's say you can train on a Wednesday, then we could have one training session on Wednesday, one on Saturday. So we could do two things. We could either A, have two full body days. So we'd have all of this on Wednesday, and then we'd have all of this on Saturday, like so. And this could also be Wednesday, Sunday. The main thing with this 2-day type of thing is if we're doing full body, we want at least 72 hours in between our workouts. So if we're on a Wednesday, the next day we can train is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if we were to move this to like a Tuesday, the next day we could train, we count 1, 2, 3 is Friday. And if you really wanted, you could do like a Monday, Thursday. This is just if you can only train 2 days a week. And more than likely, like one of the days is going to be like Sunday. One of the days is going to be the weekend, sorry. And one of the days is going to be midweek. All right. So let's say, sorry, with that, you can either do 2 full body days, or you can do a upper day and then you can do a lower day, like so. But if you're doing upper and a lower, it doesn't matter so much when the days are apart. Like ideally, you don't want to train like upper then lower, because you can have the CNS fatigue from upper. So like at least 48 hours would be good, so your CNS can catch up. But yeah, if you're just doing one upper day, one lower day, then you have a lot more freedom if you're only training 2 times a week. You want to have at least one day in between, but you could run it something like this. Maybe some of you have stuff to do on Saturday and Friday, like you're not going to work, so it's chill. Maybe like Friday, Sunday would be pretty common for a lot of you. All right, so let's move on to 3 days now. If you can train 3 days, let's start off with, let's say you can only train 3 days in a row. So like, no, I've heard a lot of people who can only train like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if we're if we're gonna train Friday, Saturday, Sunday, your best bet is gonna be like a push-pull leg split. So it's like one leg day and then your upper body split in two. So I would frame it like this. So Friday, we could have our push, because everyone likes to do push on Friday. And then we could have our pull on Saturday, like this. And then we could have our leg day on Sunday, right? So there we got our push, our pull, our legs, and this, like, you can move this anywhere in the week. It doesn't really matter. This is if you're training 3 days in a row. And with this, you can actually change this order around. I would argue that you should only do it like this, or you move the leg day in front. You don't want to train back the day before you train chest, especially because your back gets activated a lot in all of your pressing movements. Like your back is going to be sore when you're training chest. Like you can, but I would say it's more ideal to train like this if you are going to train 3 days a week. Now let's say you can train 3 days a week and it doesn't matter what days. So let's say we can train upper Monday. Sorry, let's say we can train Monday, Wednesday, and let's go with Saturday. So the way we could position this, if we're training 3 days, is we could have 2 upper days, which we want, again, 72 hours in between. And then we can have one leg day that can actually fit in anywhere. Like most ideally, it would be here on Saturday. That doesn't have to be Saturday, it's just in this split. because then we have 1 day in between here and 1 day in between the leg day and here. So our CNS is all good to go. But yeah, this leg day could like theoretically go anywhere. If you're training 3 days a week, you can do full body 3 times a week. And the most ideal way to do this would be to have at least 1 to 2 days in between all of them. So you don't want to do full body and full body the next day. So you'd want it to be like this, kind of. See 2 days in between here, 1 day in between these, and 1 day in between this one and this one. Like so. If you're going to train 3 days, so 2 upper days and 1 lower day, or 3 full body days. You can do 2 lower days and 1 upper day, but like I doubt anyone actually wants to do that. Yeah, so moving on to 4 days a week. Let's say you can only train 4 days a week. We'd want to have we'd want to have 2 upper days and we'd want to have 2 lower days. So you could structure it like this. Hang on, let me just get everything here. Shoulders, tricep, bicep, back, chest, legs. So let's say we have our first upper day on Monday. We could have our first lower day on Tuesday, and then we could repeat this. We could have it here again, Thursday, Friday. I know a lot of people like to train Saturday, Sunday, so they would want something like this. Again, we want 72 hours in between our leg days and upper days. You could have it like this or this with this split, doesn't matter. And then there is a way to actually break it up. So like you could move this upper day here, because then there's still 72 hours in between everything. And then you can train on Friday, rest Saturday, whatever. So you can set it up like this. Another way to train 4 days a week is to do push here, pull here, upper here, and lower here. But like, I think a lot of people would benefit from just training legs twice a week, and then you still get the 2 times frequency with everything. So yeah, you can do the push, pull, upper, lower, but like just do upper, lower. It's probably a lot better. And then I wouldn't really recommend, before I go into that, 4 days in a row. Okay, so 4 days in a row. 4 days in a row is pretty tough to program because we can't just do like upper, lower, because our upper body and lower bodies wouldn't be recovered. You can do that, but it's very hard to program that. Like you need to make sure you're not doing enough volume. And like for the average person, they're not going to know how to like program to make sure they're recovered in 48 hours. So for the most part, I would say when we're training 4 days, we're definitely going to have one leg. When you train 4 days, you can have it like this. You can have a leg day here, and then you can have you can have a leg day on Sunday, and then you can do push here. I don't know what this arrow is. You can do push here, and then you can do pull here. So you got legs, push, pull, legs. And then another way you can do this is we can put push here, we can put pull here, and then we can put legs, and then we can put push again. So basically, like whatever we choose, like for the most part, we can choose one thing to train twice, either push, pull, or legs. There are some other things you could do, like with chest and back and shoulder arms, but again, you need to be very meticulous when it comes to programming that. Otherwise, you're going to run into recovery issues and you might get injured. I think for the average person, like this is probably going to be the best. Like whatever your weakest point is, legs, chest, shoulders, and triceps, or back and biceps, that's the one you train twice a week. And very few people can only train 4 days in a row. In terms of 5 days and 6 days, I wouldn't recommend anyone train 6 days. You're probably just going to overtrain. 5 days, push, pull, legs, upper, lower, 1 rest day before the upper, 1 rest day after the lower. Simple as that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you found this helpful and you want me to make like a fully blown program for you and help you along the way, just click the link in my bio and then we can set up a call and talk more.